You've heard of steamed chicken, you've also heard of roast chicken. Well, today's recipe is a combination of these two wonderful cooking techniques, steaming and roasting, and very rightly or very aptly called steam roast chicken. Let's begin. You've asked me several times in the past how to get your chicken juicy and tender while roasting. Now there are several tricks. You can soak it in buttermilk, you can marinate it and keep it refrigerated overnight, or marinate it and keep it on the tabletop for 20 to 30 minutes. Well, this technique is an age-old technique called brining, and for that it's very simple. The first foremost ingredient is water. Now this is actually a solution of salt, water and vinegar. Well, internationally they also add in some sugar, completely optional. But like I always say, the choice is completely yours. It does not sweeten the chicken, but it just ensures that it gets wonderfully flavored from within. To this, I'm going to add in salt. For every liter of water, you add in a tablespoon of salt. And to this, I'm also going to add in regular synthetic vinegar. Nothing exotic. Stir this well and ensure that the salt completely dissolves before the addition of chicken. The salt has dissolved in the brine solution. Time to place a whole chicken which has gashes. Now this is also again very important so that the brine gets straight within. We rest this, turn this once, twice over. And it's also important to take chicken of a certain size. Now what I prefer is taking a chicken which is not more than a kilo. Now what happens is when you actually peel it, you clean it and you then wash it, and then finally when it's ready, the yielded weight should be somewhere around 700-750 grams. Now that makes a wonderfully small chicken which is tender and juicy even while getting roasted, and steaming of course will take it to a complete another level. Let's keep this aside. And while this chicken is actually getting brined, I'm going to make the spice mix. Let's start doing that. For the paste, first things first, I'm going to add in some peeled and roughly cut ginger. Into this, peeled and washed garlic. Let's follow this up with coriander leaves, and along with this, some fresh green chilies. Again, you can choose the spice level to your preference. Let's grind this into a smooth paste. Our ginger, garlic, green chili and coriander paste is done and ready. Let's move on to making the marination for the chicken. And for this, of course, the first ingredient is this paste, which goes straight in a deep bowl. To this, I'm going to add in curd. Now this is not hung curd or anything like that. This is just curd which is whisked nicely. To this, I'm going to add in some powder spices, lemon juice and salt of course. The first thing is garam masala, followed by roasted cumin powder, chaat masala, coriander powder, roasted corianders, red chili powder. Now this is red chili that will give you good color and not spice, which is again very important for this recipe because the spice predominantly in this recipe comes from the green chilies. Just to bring in that balance of color, a touch of turmeric. Well, marination wise also, if you see, it's very different from a classic tandoori chicken. Well, primarily the ingredients of course remain the same. You know, we are in the same structure, but nevertheless it's still very different. Lemon juice, fresh lemon, very important again for this recipe. Do not actually get mixed up with the quantity of salt used while making the brine, because the brine is going to get washed. When I say the brine is going to get washed, the chicken is going to get washed. Also, it's going to get patted dry before adding it into the marination. So remember, these tricks are little, but very important. Last but not the least, oil. Now in this case, I'm using refined oil and not mustard oil, which again makes it different from the tandoori chicken. Now the oil is not too much, the oil is just very little, and this is so that the chicken stays nice and moist and juicy even from the outside while getting steam roasted. Let's mix all of this together. And that's where you have the marination of the chicken done and ready. The chicken has been pulled out of the brine solution, washed under running cold water, and then it's important to pat this dry. Also, if you see, the color of the chicken has become whiter from the pinkish color that it had. Now it's become a shade white, which means the chicken is ready to jump into the marination. Let's add this in. And while the chicken has gone in, I'm also going to throw in the offals. When I say offals, I mean the liver and the gizzard. Very important again, and possibly also one of the juiciest and tastiest part of the chicken. Let's run the entire marinade or marinade onto the chicken. Ensure that it goes into every gash of the chicken as well. The best part about this kind of marination or this kind of brining is that it does not require extra marination time because the chicken has already been brined. So time to transfer this in a cooker vessel and into the cavity of the chicken. I'm literally stuffing this with the liver and the gizzards. Let's add in a spoonful of the marination onto the chicken, and this now is ready to be steam roasted. Now steam roasting as a process again is very unique. Now in this case, please note, in this case I'm going to use a pressure cooker. Now we all have a stand which is like an apparatus which is used generally for pressure cooking. I'm going to place this right at the bottom of the pressure cooker, and on top of this I'm going to add in water. Now the pertinent question here is how much water while steam roasting. Now again, like I said, very important. The height of the stand is the level of the water. If the water evaporates while steam roasting, the bottom of the chicken, yes, would get burnt, but you would also damage the bottom of the pressure cooker. Do not blame me after that, because reiterating, the height of the stand is equal to the level of the water in this recipe. Next step, I'm going to place this chicken, which is now marinated, onto this and light the flame. The next step is to lock the lid of the pressure cooker, and another very important step is to remove the whistle. Again, like I'm saying again, very important step, because we are not here to boil the chicken under pressure, we are here to steam roast it. Very unique. So the whistle, very importantly, needs to be kept away. Now this way, on medium to high flame, this is going to continue cooking for 40 to 45 minutes. Blindfolded. Do not touch it, do not stir it, do not open it, nothing. 45 minutes, medium to high flame, and then we'll see you back. It's been 40 minutes and the chicken has wonderfully steam roasted. With this, off goes the flame, and now is the time for this to settle down. The steam has to subside, and that'll take around 10 to 15 minutes. Let's wait and watch. The steam has settled down. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the ultimate moment of truth. Steam roasted chicken. Isn't that beautiful? Now, if you kind of just come a little closer and have a look, this also has a wonderful roast gravy, which can go perfectly well with the steam roast chicken. Finally, this is a step which is completely optional, and this is some chopped coriander. With this, our unusual steam roast chicken is done and ready. And like I said, it's very different yet very aptly named. On that note, do not forget to stay tuned for some quick, simple and easy recipes to get curried. And this is the Bombay Chef Varun Namdar signing off.